Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I wanted to talk about J.K. Rowling and the Fantastic Beasts movies. Mainly because they aren't that good and I have an opinion about it, and I wanted to talk about how it should have been, how it could have been better instead of the state it is in now. I'm not going to talk about the mistakes because there are a million videos out there that describe it very well. So I wanted to talk more about how I would have envisioned it going. And long story short, that would be like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where you've got multiple standalone movies that will conclude in one epic finale. That's the basic gist of it. So let me explain how in more detail in this video. So let's get right into it. So I've got notes on my phone, so I will be looking down, sideways, whatever, to see where I am and what exactly I want to talk about it. Anyway, what I've mentioned before is that I would have envisioned it like a Marvel Cinematic Universe, where you've got multiple standalone movies, and it concludes in a Avenger-like movie where all the individual movies come together to go against one big baddie. Or in the Potter universe, it would conclude in the first Wizarding War. Perks of making multiple standalone movies is that you can switch up main characters, learn more about different magic schools, different magic societies, like how it's in the America, in Europe, in Asia, in Africa, because you know, multiple people, multiple races, multiple ways of practicing magic, and every continent has its own culture, ways it should be practiced, stuff like that. So it would be really nice if the standalone movies would actually reflect that, and you can bring all those different aspects together in a big bad movie. You know, that is the first Wizarding War. Now let's talk about Fantastic Beasts, because this was the first movie that kicked it all off. I really liked it. Like, the first movie really expanded the way of magic in America. Also, I really liked how they written Newt Scamander, and also how Eddie Redmayne portrayed him. He was something new as a leading character, but also the story in Fantastic Beasts was very simple but very well done. The only problem I had with it was the showing up of Grindelwald. Simply speaking, because everything was nicely wrapped up, and then they shoehorned a second movie right in the last few minutes. It was unnecessary and it didn't need all that stuff. It was too much of extra fluff. If they really wanted to tease a new movie in the Harry Potter universe, they should have just wrapped up the plot of Fantastic Beasts to a nice one movie plot, and then, just like any other Marvel movie, a end credits scene where we've got Dumbledore reading a newspaper with the headline "Grindelwald breaks out of prison," or "Crimes of Grindelwald Explained," something like that. That way you are teasing the next movie, but aren't ruining the plot of the first one, which is a very nice self-contained plot about magical animals ravaging through New York, and a subplot of a wizard who didn't know he had magical powers and grew up in an abused home. If you get what I mean. That way you can still have this very very good movie without adding the unnecessary source material that isn't contributing much to the story in itself. So yeah, that's my opinion of the first movie. It was great as a standalone movie, but it didn't need to be dragged out because none of the characters had reasons to be in the second movie other than that it was convenient. Which brings me to the second movie. The second movie is Crimes of Grindelwald, the horrible second installment of the Fantastic Beasts trilogy, I think. I'm not sure. But it wasn't that great. The pacing was all over the place. The climax was way too late in the movie. Not everything was explained very well, and they made Newt Scamander the main character, but he wasn't really the main character. He was just there because Dumbledore asked him to be there, which is just bad. In my opinion, they shouldn't have made this the second installment of the Fantastic Beasts franchise. Crimes of Grindelwald should have been a standalone movie that explores the relationship and the dynamic of that relationship between Dumbledore and Grindelwald. This could have been the movie that made Dumbledore's sexuality canon. This could show us, as the viewers, that Dumbledore is gay, his relationship with Grindelwald, and why he has a soft spot for him, why he is the poison of his soul, or whatever they had in mind with it. This could be the movie that shows his relationship with Grindelwald, and why for Dumbledore, his relationship with Grindelwald was bad for him, was not the greatest thing. I had the idea that this could span over multiple years, starting with Dumbledore's time at Hogwarts, learning magic, his situation at home with his parents, his sister. This could also explore the origin of Grindelwald, and how they met, how they really became friends, and how they connected over their common interests. And the climax, in my opinion, should be the duel between Grindelwald and Dumbledore. Because, they become friends, tensions rises, external conflicts, they fall out of love, and have lots of different opinions that ultimately ends in the battle between those two wizards. Dumbledore wins, this we know, but by making it the battle emotionally ridden between all the years of them bonding, being friends, possible romance, you could make this battle both emotionally heavy and also with external stakes heavy. As I've mentioned before, it shouldn't have been a sequel. It should have been a standalone movie, and if they wanted Newt in there, they could have shown him at the end of the movie. Dumbledore in his office, Newt visiting him there because of school, either because of schoolwork or because of ministry stuff, or maybe because he was writing his book about magical creatures and needed advice from his mentor. You know, Newt Scamander should not have been the main character. He may... Okay, then the last and final standalone movie should be about the First Wizarding War. This could be the assembly movie that various main characters could show up in, or maybe do a cameo, or play an integral part to the main plot or one of the subplots. It should focus on a couple of key elements of the Wizarding War. The first one, in my opinion, should be the social and political climate during the war. And what I mean with that is, first of all, why people supported and had sympathy for Voldemort. That's partly because of the racism against half-bloods and purebloods. I think they really should focus on that. How purebloods looked down on anyone that aren't purebloods. Second of all, I do think one of the key events that should happen in the movie is Severus Snape betraying Voldemort and joining the Order of the Phoenix. Simply because it's one of the important events during the Wizarding War for both Severus as a character and for the Order to set steps into winning, even if it wasn't really because of that. Second of all, this is the movie where they could showcase the First Order of the Phoenix. All the important members could show up. I do believe that they should focus on the Marauders and their friendship, their relationship with the rest of the Order, and also the betrayal of Peter to Lily and James, because it's an important part of the tragedy of them dying and Harry's history. And also it's that is the moment that Voldemort also dies. Second of all, they should flesh out Neville's characters. I mean, it's canon, they are part of the Order of the Phoenix, and for that reason I also believe they should play a key part in the Order and be fleshed out as characters and as a person, and show the events that led to them being tortured and losing their sanity. I do think it's maybe a bit too heavy for a movie, but it would be really cool if they could show that and highlight those important events for these characters. Those, since they play such an important part for Neville as a person and for his character arcs in the Harry Potter movies and books. Dumbledore should be in the movies. He should not be one of the main characters. Just like in the Harry Potter movies, his role should be support the Order in their efforts to stop the war and stop Voldemort. He could be part of the planning and the campaigning and part of the political stuff. The last thing that I think is important is to finish the movie with James and Lily's death. I've got a couple of reasons for that. First of all, this is the moment that with them dying, Voldemort also dies and gives Harry his iconic scar and makes him a Horcrux. And he loses his physical body and everyone thinks he's dead and the war is gone. Second of all, this could neatly wrap everything up for the movie and set up the Harry Potter series on its own. It would be they could even use footage from the old movies to kind of hit the nostalgia points and, make it come full circle. I would find it very awesome if they could do that. The last 30 minutes of the movie could wrap all the things up, finish the First War, make it bittersweet with Harry going to the Dursleys, the order being disbanded, seeing the results what the war had for all those involved. So those are all my points and how I would see the movie. So I hope it's interesting, and see you guys in the next video. Bye!